not be needing that. I is now a scientist. F equals fuck your globe. F equals fuck your globe. ... Wee circle and a square. Wee dots. Water bends cause F plus A equals FA. Aye. Scrub it out. We'll start again. We're all sorted. We're scientists now. We're going to have a look at how real scientists do their work. And apparently it's with one of these things, so I thought I better get myself one. I better get myself prepped up to be a proper scientist. I'm all ready. Can't wait. We'll get magnets and everything. Pulley forces. Pulling. It's being pulled. The board, it's being pulled. It's magic. Look. We can even draw circles on it. The reason water sticks to a globe is circle, wee puddle. There's a downward force. Gravity grabs you onto it and pulls it into its middle bit, in there, a wee middle bit, right? And then you can bend water on it, right? Because wee arrows and stuff and some dots. It's a globe. Right? Working right up there now. What you got to have to say about this? Getting fruit cakes. Anyhow, let me see. I don't even know if I'm on. Yeah. Nice one. How is it doing? So, I'm trying to get a serious seed on. It's always that problem. How are we? So it's round 2 of bashing the sack sniffer known as Conspiracy Cats. Let's have a wee look. I need to get these up because I had these on my phone earlier. I need to remember what it was. That's right, aye. Just bear with me, people. I'm getting some science up, apparently. Right. One more, I think. Things. Just give me 2 seconds just to get everything here. Right, I think I'm sorted out here. We're going to be asking some questions, pointing at some nonsense. Good evening, children. Welcome to the class. My name is Mr. Arschin. You can refer to me as Arse, if you like. You all got it now? Mr. Arschin. It gets serious, you fucking creepy weirdo. Well, my fucking lid's magnetised. My lid's been pulled by the board. It's been pulled. So, we had guy conspiracy cats telling barefaced lies about myself, misrepresenting me, as we spoke about before, asserting that I claimed that objects falling in the way in which objects fall was not a real thing. Nowhere did I ever deny that. What I question and what I deny is the mechanisms, the interaction between objects and how these people imagine that to be the case. So, first and foremost, we'll start with this, because this guy continues to assert that he doesn't know, but makes videos claiming to know. So in this wee video here that he's doing a question type thing. A rock falls off the top of a cliff. Shows a rock falling. The earth exerts a force. The earth is exerting a force on a rock. The work is done by this force when the rock falls from the top to the bottom of the cliff. So, look at the words on here, and this is this guy.
As it falls to the ground, 2,700 joules of work is done on it. What is the height of the cliff? Pause now. Right, let's see how he did. And the energy has been transferred. We calculate that by the force times the distance. This question is trying to ask us how far transferred.
Let's just get back.
Well, let's see how he did. On the whiteboard now.
So as you can see here, it's quite clearly stating that the earth is exerting a force. Okay? So, what options do we then have? How can the earth be exerting a force, and what do these people imagine the force is? So we've got the whole mass attracts mass thing, and we've got the bending and warping of space-time. We'll get to that, okay? Earth. There it's there, I've drew it. It's indeed curved. So we've got another object here. Now what they're going to say is that this is exerting a force on this. Right? And they will tell you that it's exerting this force on this and it's making it accelerate towards it. So under reality, the conditions of our actual reality, we know that you have to have some sort of mechanism that achieves a pressure. So you have to have a pressure, something pushing. Okay? So what options do we then have in this nonsensical jargon stuff here? Does this have invisible tentacles that are coming out and then latching on? So if it has got invisible tentacles that are latching on right into the centre of my funny looking circle, then there must be some sort of mechanism here. Once its wee tentacle comes out and latches onto stuff, it must have some sort of mechanical device to wind it in. Because, you know, a lever on some sort of, you know, like we'll say like a fishing rod, where you have to apply a pressure to it to wind it, then draws it in. Or does it have tentacles that are coming out like this? And now pressing on the stuffsies and pushing it downwards. This is the points that I was trying to make when Flappy Balls started telling bloody lies. Because what I'm showing you here is exactly how reality works. When we're talking about motion and acceleration, anything that's moving, there's a variation in pressure happening. So when you get a wind blowing fucking leaves, it's the wind that's pressing on the bloody leaves to make them move. When you move anything, you're varying pressure. So in the case of this is what I'm talking about. Again, showing you there is no such thing as pulling. It's just a description of direction. So that wee object there is coming closer to that. You can say, oh, well, there's some sort of pull happening. But that's only the direction that it's going in. It's coming closer to that object. The mechanisms that would make the motion happen have to be something like this. We've either got invisible tentacles attaching themselves, or we've got invisible tentacles coming round the other side and applying a pressure. This silly wee lying guy continually professes that he doesn't make these claims, but yet he's making videos that are saying and suggesting that there's pulling forces. Let me just see here. So what was the question? How does gravity interact with objects? Now we've got some fantastical cartoons going on here. Some amazing looking cartoons. Really wonderful. Wonderful artistic endeavours. So here, you can see it depicted like we're on the surface of a body of water and there's waves happening. Now, you will know that in the surface of a body of water as you make waves, things get pushed into different positions. But again, they've got a real problem here because they're talking about things on a two-dimensional flat plane, not in 3 dimensions. So how does that work and how would that actually look in 3 dimensions? Let me just see here if there's anything we can make sense of. Here's another pretty image. So there you go, this is what I was talking about the other night. This is their imaginations. But the problem is that will only work for the height of that to there. And then stuff's going to fall down in this bit. What about the rest of it? What about the tap off? Does this thing not have to envelop it? So what then are we talking about? What stuff are we talking about? You'd have to draw it in 3 dimensions. You'd have to make it like a... You need to give some depth to it. Right, so we're talking about a grid plane of 3 dimensions. So what's that going to look like when you place an object in there? The whole thing has to contort round about it. So then what are we talking about? Are we talking about a flow of some kind? Because just like I showed you with the push and pull stuff, you either need to have something attached to the front of something, but your mechanism of motion is still going to be an applied pressure. So you either have to have it attached at the front, or you can have something round the back applying the pressure at the back of some object. Right? So, in water, you can imagine it in water. You know, make a whirlpool in water. and you can see that there's a flow going into a vortex, right? So then you can put things in there and they're going to be pushed with the current of the water moving around. Okay, so that's fine if that's what you're talking about. But these people are talking about invisible fairy dust. Imagination land. Got a three-dimensional sphere sitting on a 2D flat plane. And it's bending it into 3 dimensions. So what is it that's being warped and bent? Space-time. What is that? What is space-time? Let's find out. Let's see what the concepts of time and three-dimensional space regarded as fused in a four-dimensional continuum. Imagined. Same cartoons again. So, what they're doing is imagining that there's some sort of fabric, like your granny's stretchy pants, stretched over a barrel, and you place something in there and it displaces the weight so that it's then going to roll into that position. But again, it's only on a flat plane. It's not enveloping the whole thing. If you stuck everything in there, it would all fall to the bottom. What about the top portion? What's going on there? Let's have a wee look. So this is what I was talking about with trying to try to draw a grid. Right? So this grid pattern, this Cartesian grid pattern that they're depicting here, there still has to be some sort of flow happening. So the problem that these guys have is that if they're going to assert that there's something there, and when you warp it, it's pressing inwards, then that's your force that's creating this acceleration. This is your pressure that's keeping all the atmosphere contained within the vacuum. So not only does this stuff support and house the vacuum of empty space, but it supports all the other stuff like planetoids. And it can act through the vacuum to overcome the vacuum and keep everything squashed onto the earth. I don't know if you're noticing anything here about these pictures. They look quite cartoony to me. But what does that matter? Because you can just go F equals ma squared. So, this sack crash, known as Conspiracy Cats, knows fine fucking well what I'm talking about. Now, this globe cult continually talks about motion and acceleration. Objects are falling. Objects are being pulled by the earth, accelerated towards the earth by the pull of gravity. There's no such thing as pull. It's a description of direction. It's not a mechanism of movement. What's required to move something is to vary pressure. So, if I've got a big boulder in front of me and I apply a wee pressure, it's not going to move. I need to apply a greater pressure. I have to up the pressure in order to make the fucking thing move. If I want to make it come towards me, I can either glue my hand onto it and draw it towards myself using the muscles and the mechanisms of the body machine, which uses the exact same principles of one component pressing against another component in order to draw it in this direction. Or I can put my hand over the other side of it and apply enough pressure on it in order to make it move towards me, and I can see I pulled it towards me. It's the mechanism of achieving the motion that we're interested in, not the descriptor of direction. So I'm going to be all over the place here because I've got a few bits and bobs up that I just want to get through. I probably had some order to it, but you know, when I start my carry on, I kind of forget. How does gravity interact with matter? First, since the range of the force due to gravity is infinite. Oh, it's fucking wonderful. So, gravity pretty much is their god, because it's infinite. An infinite range. How does that work? Because that last guy that made the comment about sitting on my bed and placing a ball and the ball roll into me. Well, if I sit at the edge of my bed and I put the ball at the other end, it doesn't go anywhere. So what are you talking about? Why have I not got infinite range? If that's the gravity you're going with. So do you understand what I mean? If they're going with Einstein's warping and bending of something, and it's a flow then, something has to be flowing, but not on a linear plane. It has to be flown inwards 360 degrees, three-dimensional. So has it got the ability to permeate through the rock? Did the speck of dust start and grow on this fabric of space-time? And then grow outwards, but it was still attached into the centre, this fabric stuff? Like space-time. So did the wee speck of dust start here? Did it grow? Was the fabric of space-time entwined within it when it was just a wee particle? We'll get to particles in a minute. And then as it grew, it contorted all this and started bending it in or something. This all bend down and it's all bending in squiggly lines like this. So was there something flowing through this grid? So that when particles and stuff appeared from anywhere, did the Big Bang spew out the space-time fabric? Did it weave it in a factory when it was a infinitesimal, small fucking infinite density thing? Was it weaving fabrics and all that? Right, I better get all this stuff ready so that when we expand we can cast out the net of space-time. And then when we planetoids form, it's all going to warp and it'll flow inwards and it'll push everything in. So, what's your problems here? You've got a fucking globe, you've got all this gas. We need containment to the vacuum. Nothing. But this warped space-time, and space-time's now pressing on the air. It's pressing on it, it's making a big shell on it, and it's pressing it inwards. Is that what you imagine's happening? Please clarify. I need to get a cloth or something. That's going to take too long doing that all the time. So, what else we got? So here we go. Can you still see this while I still screen share? You can't see the whiteboard. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry you missed my diagrams. Am I facing it the wrong way around? I need to go to that side. Can't do it with my left hand. I'm not a scientist then. Can't do it with my left hand. How does gravity work? It's like the earth pulling on you and keeping you on the ground. That pull is gravity at work. Every object in the universe that has mass exerts a gravitational pull or force on every other mass. The size of the pull depends on the masses of the objects. So again, earth, area, a drewed it. I drawed the earth. There a wee stick man. Hey, he's levitating. So, how is this thing that's under him affecting the thing above it? The only way to be achieving that, as I say, is invisible stuffs coming out here and attaching on. And then a wee mechanism in here to wind it back in again. All the stuff goes up here and creates a wee hood and then pushes them back down. So it's like a fishing line with weights on it, and then it goes so far, it goes, oh fuck you, and it comes back down and it presses you in. I mean, does that make any fucking sense to you whatsoever? So these people need to really, this is the importance of why I keep pointing this out. They keep using this word pull when it's even written there. It exerts, the earth is exerting. And then Baldy flaps his wee video. The earth exerts a force. So how the fuck is it achieving that? The only way it can be achieving that is by what I've shown you. Or the warping and bending stuffs that's all coming in the way. So what is this made of then? Some material that when you warp it, it just keeps pressing in? Is it a flow of some kind that's working through everything? And pressing it all inwards? Just for the clowns out there that still don't get it, I'm going to show you something really quickly here. Where it's direction of pressure and how you apply it in order to make things move. So we'll use a couple of examples quick. Rope. Person here. Person here. You're pulling your rope. No. This person exerts force, pressure by grip like this. This person does the exact same. That's the squeeze. Now, these arrows, once the person's gripped them, are going to swing round and the pressure is now going to be applied inwards, like that. Same for this dude. Pressure exerted is now inwards. The pressure goes in that direction inwards. If you had some sort of knot or inclined plane or whatever there, you would have more resistance. You would be able to apply a greater force or pressure. Whereas if I didn't have that and I greased the rope up, you wouldn't be able to exert the pressure in this direction, bringing it towards you. Ah, where the fuck's my wee thing went? Here we have the arse end of a vehicle. It's not going to be a very good vehicle. Right, there's a wheel, there's a wheel. There's its tow bar. Here we have the front of another vehicle. Never mind that shite, right? Now this vehicle has a towing eye. Okay, with me so far? When we attach the tow rope here, the tow rope loops round. Here. Then we bring it over here, and we usually have a hook which hooks in, okay, to this towing eye. Now, the principles and the mechanics of the internal combustion engine in every single facet of the vehicle is one mechanism pressing against another mechanism to achieve motion. Right down to the tyres having to have a tread on them so that you can get more friction on the road where the cut comes into contact and it pushes against the road. Okay, now what happens is it goes forwards in this direction. Okay, this that's looped through here. The tow bar comes into contact with the inner portion of the tow bar. The tow bar presses against here, taking it in this direction. So it's applying the pressure in the inner circle. Here, okay? The tension is then taken up to the hook. The hook now exerts a pressure in that direction on the inside of the towing eye. It's not difficult. It's only difficult if you're willfully ignorant and trying to insist that the earth's a nonsensical, idiotic sphere, sitting on a section of your granny's stretched knickers. And you're coming up with F equals Z M and all that stuffs. All that doesn't mean fucking diddly squat. What we're interested in is the mechanisms and where the applied force or pressure actually is. There is no pulling forces in the natural world. They don't exist. Magnetism. Look, magnet. A magnet's pulled. It's pulled. Well, is it? Again, we're back to that same problem. Alright, here we go. We've got the magnet. A wee flat face on it. Right? Then we've got the whiteboard. Okay? So, what these dipshits think is that this thing here's got wee magical fishing lines that it throws out, attaches on, and then the wee invisible fisherman inside the magnet winds it in. Oh, it's casting them out, and it can go round the back and push the whiteboard towards it. Or is it just like air or water when you displace it? And that stuff, air and water, will rush in to fill that void. And as it does so, it will take anything, if it's rushing in quick enough, it will lift objects and it will move objects into that region of where it wants to go. So for me, when we're talking about magnetism, that's me, I like it. My mind can go there. My mind can't go to this nonsense. Magnet. Whiteboard. That there's some aspect to this that can come out to just about here. And it doesn't need to touch it. It can just make it go in this direction. Just because I can draw it. Reasons. We'll come back for some more in a wee second. Right, Dale poured water on a soccer ball because that's a practical reference. Dale was showing you how a substance in your world actually behaves. You think that's ridiculous. You think that's ridiculous. But you think F equals fucking ME and all that. That explains how water bends round objects apparently. You can just write F equals ME, and you can draw a half moon, a half arc, and then you can just put a wee puddle on the top of it and say that the Earth's exerting a force. The Earth's exerting a fanciful magic force on it. What it does is it gets a wee injection type thing, right, with a wee plunger, and then it injects a new material into the water, like jelly. Then you put it in the fridge for a wee while, and it starts to kind of set. And then you can kind of bend it around stuff. Just because F equals ME and all that. And I drew it. Water's no level. Water's no level. No. What do you mean? Level like a fucking straight line? Ugh, don't be ridiculous. Don't be a fucking retard. Level actually means it's equal distance from the centre of my dot. All the way around. That's what level means, you retard. It's not a fucking straight line, away you go. It's a fucking ridiculous. There's no such thing as level straight foundations anywhere. Canals, buildings, roads, rail networks, they're not straight. They're curved. I'm fucking showing you why. Whiteboard, ink, pomposity, hubris. I'm a scientist, PhD in F equals ME and all that. Levels are no straight. Levels is curved. I can't show you. I'm not going to show you because I can't. But trust me, I'm a dick sniffer with a pen and a whiteboard. I know how it works. Let me just get another smoke prepared before we get to particles and all that, because this stuff will blow your mind. Blow your fucking mind. Nathan's no more on anymore. Nathan's got a whiteboard and a pen. All I need to get now is the smug attitude. I'll sort the smug attitude out and I'll be sorted. And I'll need to raise myself up so I'm looking down at you. This poor man has lost his mind after his kids get taken away. I've not lost my mind. It's yous lot out there with warping and bending of space-time zone whiteboards that have lost your fucking mind. I set the challenge. Is there anybody out there that's found a pulling force yet? No. Magnets. Aye, particles and that. Let's get to that stuff. Fucking can't wait. And particles. You can't slag me for drawing stuff on whiteboards. That's what scientists like conspiracy cats broadcast us. You don't need practical references. You just need to be able to draw it. That's exactly what I'm going to do. No, it doesn't pull its load, you fucking pamphleto. There's no force of pull in a motor vehicle, you absolute tosspot. Right. Let me see here. The magnets is affecting the laser on my mouse.
Momentum. Now let's change that analogy and look at a balloon. And the air particles really appreciate the exposure. Alright, I'll keep this brief. Let's look at how pressure works. I want you to imagine you stood in a room, you've got a basketball, you throw it at a wall, and it's clear that that wall is going to feel the force when the basketball strikes it. And if the wall is only made of plasterboard, for example, the basketball might go straight through. Now, we get a force...
For fuck's sake, fuck me, I've just learned something. Don't throw a heavy object at plasterboard because it might burst it.
Or we can determine that force through the equation.
Well, we can determine it. We can determine it with F.
Force equals change in momentum over time. And when the basketball bounces off the wall, it changes its momentum.
Do you mean it slows down? Obviously. You need to keep putting power into it, or it's going to slow down, you fucking cretin. What do you think is going to happen?
Change that analogy and look at a balloon. And the air particles inside the balloon are like the little basketballs.
Oh, this is I love this stuff now. This is fucking great. Particles. Little balloon. Particles. So, Fanta Pants here has got some fucking imagination. He imagines the air is like wee basketballs. There's a serious problem with that, Sonny Boy. See all this space in between them? What's there? What's in between your wee tiny basketballs? Are they compressible basketballs? Is it like wee squishy basketballs? So that they just squeeze against each other? Like that? So that there's never any space between them? Is this what you're imagining, Sonny Boy? Is that what you imagine's going on? So, all the wee space balls is all packed together, like that. And there's no space in between them. Is that what you imagine? I don't think it is, because I think you're about to say they start bouncing about.
The inside of the balloon are like the walls. And when the particles bounce off the inside of the balloon, then they are creating a force. And if that force...
The wee balls is bouncing off the inside of the balloon. Are they separating from each other? Is the wee balls isolated, wee tiny planetoids? With fuck all in between them? Or is it the magical space-time fabric stuffs that's connecting them all? Magic space-time stuff connecting them all together as one. Is that what you're imagining? Particles. Wee tiny space balls. Away and stop talking fucking crap. You utter lunatic. You can't have particles with fuck all in between them. No thing, nothing. You maniac.
Force is big enough, it will cause the balloon to expand. Or if the net force, the expansion force, if that's bigger than the force pushing the balloon in from the particles striking on the outside, that will be the atmospheric pressure. Then the balloon will expand. Now,
where's gravity's role? Where's gravity's role in this? How can the gas particles be free flowing and randomly bouncing off each other in every direction, but your gravity is either pressing down on them from above, or it's got magical tentacles that's attached to every single wee space ball, right? Every wee space ball's attached by magical tentacles, right? Pulling it down. Well, how can it be free flowing? How can it be bouncing about in every direction if you've either got a pressure from above or invisible tentacles yanking at them from underneath? You complete and utter fuckstick. Your head is minced. You've been watching too much fucking Star Wars and Star Trek and listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson and the likes. You're away with the fairies, wee sacks. Totally fucking lost. In tiny spaceball land. Tiny spaceballs. Big spaceballs. I'll come back. He's got more. He's got more. He has more. You can't have particles, wee mini space balls, bouncing off each other. What's between them? He's talking about air. This guy is talking about air, a fluid. But it's made up of wee space balls, particles. Images of particles. Oh, look. I don't know about you, but I think they're cartoons. Well, there's Particle Zoo. Particle Zoo. It's just a cascade of tiny wee balls. But there's still space between them. You can't have an area in reality of no thing. I don't care how much of your imagination you use. It's ridiculous. So we're back to that again. Sound may be carried by tiny particles with negative gravity. Negative gravity? What's that? It's negative gravity. This is just all ridiculous. It's just all crap. Virus catching particles made. Spaceballs. But the ones are all stuck together, but there's still gaps in between them. What's in the gap? I really want to know. What are these people imagining? What is the matter? Oh. It's a fucking beautiful picture. See, at least there's stuff in between the ones. But what about the rest of it? You know how when you go into water, it's all made up of wee balls, and there's space between them, but there's nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Early days where you can't quite catch your breath. That's because you found a big empty space where there's nothing. Apparently. Particles is real. I just showed you. So apparently in some of the pulling forces, one object fires wee buzz. I'll show you. I'll give you some vivid drawings. Apparently in some of their warped imaginations, this object here and this object here, this one makes this one come towards it because it fires out wee space balls at it. They bounce off it. And that makes that one go in that direction towards that one. Huh? It fires out stuffs at that one, bounces off it, and that one goes, oh fuck, I'm coming to see you. You know, like you did in your primary school and you fancied a lassie. You used to hit her. And that would make her come back to you. Something like that. It just throws stuffs, imagination, wee particles at it. Bounces off it and it goes, whoop, I'm coming to see you. Not that defies any practical reference of motion and acceleration, where we require some sort of attachment, where pressure is being varied in order to make the motion happen, or the acceleration happen. No. When you've got a whiteboard, you can throw all that out the window. You can imagine any all flapped and assert it that it's true. And I'm the fruitcake for showing you how water behaves in a practical fashion. And showing you that you need a pressure variance in order to achieve motion. I'm the crackpot. These people are rational and sane. Why do people keep saying Gem Panda? I can't see the clown. Whether it's there. So this space-time fabric stuff was all condensed, infinitesimally dense, into a singularity. A wee particle that exists somewhere. I don't know where it was existing before it created space and time and all that, and the fabric stuff. But trust me, it existed. And as it expanded out, it cast its net of space-time and space bars with space in between them, where nothing exists. Send me an email, Unirock, to I would love to hear this crap, because your wee fanny boy there, Conspiracy Cats, runs away. He's too scared. He can only fire his wee pea shooter from afar with his whiteboard and his pen, talking about space particles and all this jobby. Telling me that he doesn't assert that gravity pulls when he fucking well does. How's the Earth exerting any sort of force on something above it? You complete and utter mongs. It would have to be embedded in some sort of fluid. And that fluid would have to be flowing in an inwards direction to carry anything along with it. Unirock, email address above. Don't be scared now. Don't be shy. It's funny how they're on their way making wee idiotic hit piece videos misrepresenting, telling you barefaced lies, but they've not got the cojones to come in here and display what it is they're trying to imagine is going on with the universe and not its wee bumping space balls.
Drop me an email and I'll point you in the right places. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Poop Seeker. Statistics suggest that you growing every day.
Response to that.
I appear to.
B stands for. I remember going on a date once with a girl.
You never went on a date with anybody, you mad stalker.
He's saying nothing.
Add a point to this.
And it's suitable for kids. So here we have in place something called the Bernoulli principle, which essentially says that a fast-moving gas, in this case, a fast-moving fluid will create a lower pressure. It's how planes fly and how F1 cars stick themselves to the ground. I'm not sure how it disproves gravity though.
So you keep saying that about people. It's the function of your gravity theory concept that's in question, fuckstick. Is it displacing some fluid or fabric that's then creating a flow inwards? Or is it imaginary, fishing lines attaching onto stuff? That's what's in question, because it doesn't make any fucking sense.
The more particles that are in there, the bigger the force, the bigger the pressure. This is the ISS. There's no need to deliberately do this with the ISS and create a pressure so high, we're going to crush all the skulls of the astronauts.
So what's happening with your ISS, eh? Has it been pulled from beneath? Or been pressed from above? Because if it's been pulled from beneath, then you're invoking invisible fishing lines that are hooking onto it and taking up the tension. Right, that's it. Right, we've got the right tension, just keep it there at 250 miles, right? Get the line nice and tight, right? We've got it, right? That's it now. Now it's going to keep it the same fucking distance. Or the press from above. Same. Just the right, it's Goldilocks again. Just the right amount of pressure there, right? That's it. 'Cause if you push too hard, it's going to get right in. Total and utter tripe.
First. So this is what we said.
Man-made alloy, and I'm gonna put it back.
It doesn't exist.
Show your
Here you can colour it in, put some butterflies. For the next comment, you can't leave me alone, you chamber. And as the pop shot out one end, the change of momentum through the can the other way, showing that.
Actually, there was something for it to press on, you creepy weirdo. What was this about? Talking about gas pressure. Well, here we go.
You won't be able to find one at all because it doesn't exist. Intelligent response to any of this. Like I said, this is just for you guys. But if I do, if there is a flat earther out there that listens to what I say here and then wants to ask an intelligent question, then I'll do follow-ups. For those of you who are out there who are brilliant at level work topic, pressure is defined as the force per unit area. So in other words, I have to have a force upon an area. And with gas pressure, this is my living room and these are the particles flying around.
There we go again, the particles. Wee space pods with empty fucking gaps in between them.
Pressure occurs when the particles bounce off the walls or back.
He's talking about stuff's bouncing. Where is he getting that? I'll tell you where he's getting it. Right out his fucking ass. And trying to assert it as some sort of rational, reasonable thing. It's fucking dots on a piece of paper. What's between the dots? Nothing. pressure he's talking about is in a containment. Now, he goes on to waffle about, you know, the earth and domes and all that stuff, and a rigid dome having a fixed volume, right? But who says that? Why does he keep asserting that? How do we know it's not some sort of membrane that's flexible, that can expand and contract? Just saying. Huh? So that's pressure gradient pish. Right? There's your scale, measurement thing, barometric pressure, scale, whatever the fuck you like. It's measuring the weight of the column directly above it, pressing downwards. Now, unless this is super, you know, out of this world sensitive, and you've got the scale perfectly set to measure from this point to the very end point, right? It's not going to be right. So imagine that's a set of scales, and this is a person, big long person, right? And they stand on these scales. These scales would need to be super sensitive. If I was to take the scales and I was to slice a wee thin piece off the top of his scalp there and place the scales there, right? That wee bit of mass that's left, that wee tiny bit, it's probably not even going to register on there. But that doesn't mean to say there's nothing there, does it? Let's see what else this cockend's go to spew at.
Bounce off the ceiling, and they create a force. Now, the force, we can even calculate, it's the rate of change of momentum of each particle.
Change of rate of momentum of each particle. Wee space bars again. He's separating air or fluid or water or anything up into wee space balls. It's just imaginary. It's not real. It's just their imaginings of what's going on.
Just throwing that in there for no reason really. But when they bounce off the walls, they create a force. That's what pressure is. So what is the difference between pressurised and pressure? Well, this is how I'm going to explain it. And again, obviously, it goes much deeper than this. But if I take a gas, that gas is going to spread out and increase its volume at any given temperature. And as I increase the temperature, the gas is going to
In a container.
spread out even more. And if I increase the amount of gas, the amount of particles...
We live in a complex system where there's heat and pressure variation happening all the time because of a heat source. So there's expansion and contraction happening within the one reference frame, and it's all moving.
It will spread out even more. Now, we know this, and anyone who studies sort of like molar calculations and with gases, we know that 1 mole of a gas at a given temperature will occupy a certain volume. And if I increase the amount of gas, it's going to occupy a bigger volume. That's just
In a container.
Demonstrable facts, which we can go into in another video, should anybody actually be interested in that discourse. But what if I stop this gas being able to spread out? What if I put it into a container? So here is the gas.
I think you need to be put in a container to stop you spreading out, son. With your fucking space particle nonsense. Science. Science. That's science. This is practical demonstrations. This is a globe priest. This is him offering you practical reference for you to understand your reality. You've just to imagine that it's all broken up into wee tiny balls. Maybe his mammy and daddy just threw him in a big pile of the plastic borings that you see at the child's fucking play park and abandoned them there. And his imagination just get warped even more and more and more until he started seeing balls everywhere. Balls in his chin. Maybe they were literal. Everything's balls. No, your mummy and daddy just abandoned you, son. You've got abandonment issues. The world's no made up of wee balls. Where are you getting at? Would you like to answer? You're welcome to come on and offer us up your rationale.
Now, this time, as I add more gas, it's not going to make this. It's not going to make the gas increase in its volume. I have fixed the volume. The volume now cannot change. So, as I add more gas, what happens is there are more collisions between these gas particles, and
They're collisions. They're crashing. Are they drunk?
any surface that's inside. Now, that will include the inside of the container, but also anything like a balloon that I might put inside the container. So the pressure per square inch is going to increase as I add more and more and more gas because I've got more frequent collisions. Now, this is really what we mean by pressurized. If I take the walls away, then that gas will expand, and it will expand to a given volume dependent on the temperature and the number of moles or the number of particles of gas that I've got.
Particles.
But to pressurize something, you fix the volume. Now, we all will have seen this relationship.
But this is where it conflates two different things. He's talking about a volume in a container where it pushes equally in every direction. But when they're talking about the gradient of atmospheric pressures, they're not talking about it in reference like that. They're talking about this column shit here. Like piling up loads of bricks. And then having a measurement of that mass pressing on it. Right? And just as I said in this example, depends on your scale and how this is calibrated down here. Right? If it's super duper sensitive, which I highly fucking doubt, then if I take a infinitesimal slice of that top brick off and I place the scale weight measurement device there with a tiny wee slither sitting on top of it, it's going to read fuck all. Can try this with scales, digital scales, manual scales, whatever you like. Pile up some feathers in a column. Weigh it, then take your device and place it here with one feather on top of it, and it's going to read nothing. Does that mean that there's no feathers there? No, it bloody well does not. How it's being compressed so that it's more dense down here than it is up here, we will get to, because they've got serious problems with that issue.
Some point at school, P, the of particles of gas. So if I increase the number of particles of gas...
Stop saying particles. You got a wee individual ball of gas, son, that's one particle. Are you counting them? Is there a ball counting device? So that when we take the gas canisters and the acetylene bottles to go and get filled, is it like one of the money counter things? Oh, 15 trillion space balls we used to fill up your acetylene bottle.
It doesn't change. Then the pressure...
What a complete and utter fud this dude is. Honestly, he's a complete and utter fuckstick.
Pressure is going to increase if the volume is fixed. So if I'm in a canister or a domed earth, for example, the volume is fixed, so the pressure is going to go up.
I don't claim the Earth's domed, but he's taking other people's claims and then asserting that it must be some kind of like metal container. How would he know that? As I say, what if it's some fabric or some material that's got the ability to expand and contract as the pressure goes up and down? Just saying.
That gives us this relationship that PV over T equals a constant.
PV over
Right?
T.
Now I can use either one of these formulas, but why is this important?
This is science.
Think about the Earth.
This is pure practicality here.
So basically the Earth does not behave as a container with a fixed volume of gas, because if it did, if the volume was fixed because we had a container over the top, then the amount of gas...
But it's a complex system. With heat variance going on all the time. Creating fluctuations of pressure, and the whole thing's moving continually because you've got a heat source.
also would have will be fixed. And that would mean that the pressure is directly proportional to the temperature. So as the temperature would double, the pressure
Aye, we know,
behave like pressure in a container.
That's why you don't put your acetylene bottles next to the fire. Okay? You keep them cool. Because if you don't, it'll explode. And all the wee space particle balls will come flying out and bounce right off you.
Behaves. It just doesn't. We do not have this fixed volume capped by a dome. If we did, we would have a fixed volume of gas, and what we would...
Fixed volume capped by a dome. That's not a material that can expand and has imagination. So he makes all sorts of assertions and assumptions, misrepresentations, barefaced fucking lies. That's cretin.
Fine, like I said, is if I can increase the temperature to find one. Now, we'll just completely ignore that. So let's move on to number 3. What is entropy? Good question. Now, I could be here a long, long time with this question, and I'm not going to be.
I'll be here a long, long time with wee dots and the arrows on a whiteboard.
If I get sensible questions and requests based on this...
Sensible questions on this. Mate, you're drawing fucking dots on a piece of paper. You've no got anything sensible. You've no got a practical reference for anything that you assert or claim to be true. All you have is wee dots on a piece of paper with idiotic arrows. And your same gimmick that you think's funny over and over and over again. You're a pathetic, dweeby wee guy. You start answering some fucking questions, dipshit. What's between these spaceballs? Where did you get that there was wee spaceballs? Is that just part of your religious teachings? Is that what it is? You just bought into it because it matched your abandonment as a child when you were flung into the ball pit. Did you form a relationship with the wee balls? Did they make you feel secure? I just want everything to be wee balls. I loves balls.
Do more. Well, essentially, all we need to know at this level at the minute is
all we need to know at this level at the minute is how much ink you've got left in your pen.
With the spreading out. But it's not to do with spreading out of mass. And this is what, again, flat earthers would have you believe. If I have lots of gas particles here, we do know they are going to spread out. But it's not the spreading out of the gas particles that follows entropy. What entropy is the spreading out of energy. If I take these gas...
Oh, he knows what energy is now. Fanta Pants knows what energy is.
Particles here, and I was to measure the kinetic and potential energies, then I have a lot of energy contained in a small space. When they spread out, they are dissipating that energy with them. They're spreading that energy over a larger area. We talk about order to chaos, right? And that's essentially what entropy is. So what is the law of entropy?
So the wee space balls are making magic energies and holding onto it, and then letting it go, and then making more, holding onto it, and let... He's talking about these wee space balls like they're peoples, with a personality, their consciousness or something.
So let's apply that to a number of different ways we can show that the laws of entropy are not being broken by having a gas pressure next to a vacuum. And it's going to be a while before...
Yes, that breaks any sort of practical, everyday live life experience, son. Any sort of high pressure will immediately disperse into the lower pressure area. Can't be breaking that. Unless you're willing to tell the whole practical world that they're wrong. I would love that to see you achieving that. Go and tell everybody they're all wrong. Because you've got a whiteboard and a pen.
Or even say the word gravity.
So gravity. How's he imagining this then? Again, we're back to this. So here we go. We'll ask the questions again. See if Fanny Sacks can respond with some sort of practical reference this time. Since he's too scared to come and speak to me directly. Right? Let's get back to imagining what he's talking about. I'll try and get accurate to his real life depiction. Four years at university. 4 years. So, gravity again. Are we back to invisible rods? Holding on? Are we back to invisible rods coming over the top and holding on? Are we talking about the warping and bending of something that's causing a downward pressure? Applying some sort of pressure here? And pressing every one of your wee free-flowing space balls? In this case, or in this case, they can't be free moving. Because you've either got them attached by wee invisible rods here, by invisible rods pressing on them, or some invisible flow of something up here, flowing towards the centre of your nonsensical cartoon drawing. So is it coming all the way through? And as it comes through, it catches all the wee space balls, and it pushes them and pushes them and pushes them, till they all start compacting down here, lower. They're all compacting here because they're coming into the resistance of the material here, which is the earth. So it's all getting squished by this downward imagination stuff that's flowing through everything, through all the solid stuff, into the centre where there's fuck all. Nothing exists here. I need to draw a hollow actually. I need to rub that bit out. Into the centre of my sphere where there's nothing. No thing. So we've either got invisible rods coming out of no thing and attaching onto everything somehow, or we've got some flow of a warping and bending of something that's now been warped and bent and flowing inwards to the centre where it goes into nothing. Feel free to respond. I can't fucking wait.
So, remember, it's the amount of entropy in the universe that has to increase. So, these gas particles here that gain their kinetic energy that allows them to rise up, where do they gain that kinetic energy?
How are they rising up? Are the rods still attached? Is it like having a fish on a fly line? Oh, the fucking thing's trying to get away from me. Cock rash. Next one. What else you got? I don't know if I've got any other ones. Aye. What's going on here?
Weight, which is the force that we are pulled towards the Earth with, equals mass.
There it goes. Let's hear that again. Hold on, normal speed.
Stronger gravitational pull, then gravity.
Oh, there it is again. Let's see it.
Stronger gravitational pull, then gravity.
Notice the hand. Notice the hand. Him that didn't assert anything. Doesn't assert anything. The gravitational pull. So he's asserting there. He's asserting that the Earth has indeed got invisible fishing lines. Because remember, as I showed you, when we're talking about pull, the direction of bringing something closer, you need an attachment. You need an extension of yourself either attached to it at the front, stuck on by adhesion, or you need it going round the back of it and applying the pressure on that, at that area. You see him, the pull of gravity. So what's going on then? This is the questions I keep asking you before you misrepresent me and tell fucking lies, you prick. How is this affecting this? What is it doing to it? Invisible attachments being wound in by nothing at the centre. Invisible attachments coming up and then getting rigid here and then pushing. Is it like a flow of like water coming up the stream, up the tube and then pushing down on it? Answer the fucking questions, sack sniffer. Let's just hear it again. Pretty sure he asserts it again.
Be stronger. And that can give us this equation here that our actual weight, which is the force that we are pulled towards the earth with,
Pulled towards the earth with. Weight is the force that we are pulled towards the earth with. So let's just have a look at this again. This is the questions I asked previously. How do you even get weight? How are you even getting weight? Because we're back to the same problem again. We'll take this away now. Here's the infinite void. There's an object. It's got mass and density to it. It's got mass and it's got density, right? It's a solid object, it's fixed, and its volume and all that, and its mass, right? It's kind of be compressed. It's fixed. Remember, never mind the edges here. You've got to imagine that it's in an infinite void. Where's it getting weight? And direction. The only way for it to get weight and direction is for something else to come into contact with it. So we could bring it from here. We could have something, we'll just say it's a line, that moves at say 21 miles per hour. And it comes into contact and it now presses against that and it continues to move at 21 miles an hour. That continuation of a set 21 miles an hour pressing against that. Now this has a resistance. Its weight can now be felt because it has a point of reference. That point of reference also gives it its downward direction. From that downward direction, it's got the perpendicular, and you can have every other direction possible from that. So let's just do it again now. No direction, no weight. Let's bring in the globular earth, shall we? There's a globular earth. How did that now give that weight and direction? That has to come into contact with that in order for it to have resistance. But again, how did that happen? Because that's no moving towards that. Apparently. What have I read here? I'll get that later. Distracting me from my Spaceballs here. Oh, what's going on? Why is that? Why is that doing that? Who's deleting? Baron Bronskevich, somebody deleting stuff. It's not me. I'm the only one with the power to delete anything. Why is that just looking as if it's trying to refresh all the time? So, as I was saying, this, in order for it to have weight and direction, it needs something to resist it. It either needs to be, when it's coming into the globular earth, there has to be a flow downwards that's going to press on it, push it into this one, that's going to resist it in an upwards direction like that, then it's going to have weight to its mass. But you need something flowing or pressing from above downwards, or you need invisible stuffs attaching onto it and winding it in so that when it comes into contact with the earth, it's got that resistive aspect, which then gives it weight. These are the only options we have. This is reality we're talking about. This is what we know and we understand. Space particles and fucking imaginary forces are just not going to cut it in my book. I'm sorry. I'm not going to suspend practicality for imaginative dots with energies and stuff.
Equals mass times the acceleration due to gravity. So F equals m times a.
So there we go. Acceleration due to gravity. How do we understand acceleration to be achieved? There he is, claiming he doesn't assert these things when he fucking well does. Acceleration can only be achieved when you've got a point of contact of some force which is going to be a pressure. How much of that pressure is going to dictate how fast and how far this object's going to move. What have we got in the natural world? We've got loads of references to see that. If we're talking about flows, we need to look at something like water. Like a river. Something flowing, something moving that comes into contact with something else, presses against it and puts it into motion and accelerates it. You can't have some other object create an acceleration of another object without coming into contact with it in some way. You can't just have this here and this here with fuck all going on between them. Like, oh, I'll just come to there and then I'll stop. But I'll still be able to make that come towards me. Or I can fire wee space particles at it. And the wee space particles will bounce off it and make it go in that direction. That's lunacy. Total and utter crackpot lunacy. So again, Fanta Pants, you know fine well what I'm talking about. And so does the rest of your wee cult minions. And you don't fucking like it. Which is why you're descending on every one of these videos, acting like fucking absolute cult fanatics, spewing nonsense about all this jargon.
Which he appears to understand-ish.
You don't understand fuck all, son.
F equals MA. And
We can clearly see that he's got kilograms as being the units for force, but we've spoken about that.
Answer the question. How do you weight of an object?
What interests me is on the right hand side, because mass times divided by net, and distance divided by time. You know, what the heck. We all know that speed is distance over time, not acceleration. That's why the units of speed are meters per second. Because distance we measure in meters.
Now, whatever fanny boys have done it for you. So I went back to this again. The earth exerts a force. So he's telling you here that it's the earth that's somehow exerting a force on the rock. So we're back to the very square one again. How is the earth interacting with these falling objects? We've either got a flow coming from above, flowing inwards and pushing stuff towards the earth, comes into contact with the earth, there's a resistance there, then we get a weight. Or the earth is casting out imaginary invisible fishing lines, attaching on and winding it in, or imaginary fishing lines that go over and above, get rigid and then press downwards somehow. It's just all nonsense. Total and utter nonsense. This was interesting, by the way. This was a balloon put into a chamber and the pressure increased in the chamber.
So that's about 1 atmosphere. That's about 2 atmospheres. Well, actually, that's about more like 2 atmospheres.
What you have to notice here is that this guy is showing you practical references here of stuff, but with practicality. So he created a vacuum with a chamber. And then he created another chamber and he's put the balloon in it with gas already inside it. Now he's increasing the pressure within the chamber to get the effect of what's happening to the ball with a gas contained within it. The ball gets smaller because the gas that's within it is compressible. Gas is compressible. If you were to vac that system out to a vacuum, that would burst. And the gas that's in it would fill the void immediately. All the wee space balls would all spread out, leaving big empty spaces between them, with nothing in between, apparently, according to Baldy Flaps.
And alright, there's about 3 atmospheres.
This is the actual relationship with gases and vacuums and pressure chambers. This is the actual reality. This is how things actually behave. Oh, that's nonsense. Doesn't mean anything. Means fuck all. Well, look at that. What's happening there? When he's opening the valve and it's not a sealed containment. What's happening there when he opens that valve? Well, that's right. All that high pressure immediately fills the space where there's a lower pressure or moves into it. How come? How's gravity not just holding it in there?
The sandal's all cold. That's funny.
Should we see it? Well, the balloon itself doesn't look like it had much of a difference. It looks as identical as when I put it in there. In fact, this red balloon may be the only balloon to experience 4 atmospheres. Now, to give you an example, 1 atmosphere would be equivalent to...
Did you get that, conspiracy retard? In order for him to get a pressure or atmosphere or to increase it, they had to have it in a chamber. See if that chamber was made out of some sort of material that could stretch. It could apply a heat to it and it would expand outwards. You know, because all your wee space balls would get all excited and he'd butt each other or something. You fucking idiot. Smashing. Images of particles, cartoons. Right, where are we second here? Somebody sent me a Maria. Hey Dale, didn't find the invisible pulling force, but finally found a building that follows the curvature of the earth. As seen from 13 miles away. Starting to lean over as it goes over the curve of the concept sphere earth. Cheers for that, Maria. Right. Kevin Balfour, poker and darts, I'll get back to that. Anybody else that's up for it, mind, will let me know. Right, I need to just jump for a piss. I shall be back. God, that feels much better. Oh, I just shed a load of fucking space particles there. Right, all the wee space particles are all bumping off each other away down the lavy pan. Away at the sewers, bouncing off each other. Right, we got any experts here? I was making a tea as well. Have we got any experts? Is any experts coming on to tell me all the stuff? Nice one, I've got somebody else looking for a wee Shout for the poker and the darts. Good stuff. No experts. There's no experts here. Who's that? Vander Vinet. I'll check them out if once I'm finished. Thank you very much. Experts, rush in here and tell me all about your space particles and how it all works. We can't wait. We're all dying to know. Zep Teppy. Come on in then, Zep Teppy. Chop chop. So, anybody asserting that we're in some medium and that this medium or stuff is creating a direction, an acceleration and a motion, it must either be something that's attached to the frontal portion of something or attached at the back end of something, or it's a flow in a particular direction that gives direction and brings things towards the earth by flowing top down to bottom. That's the only options we have. So my whole point of pointing all this out was to clarify in people's minds when they mention this word pull that it's only a descriptor for direction, that being that you brought something closer towards something else. The mechanisms of achieving that motion is by varying pressure. It's funny how all these experts go quiet, isn't it? I think they'll be rushing in here to put us all right. Oh well. It looks as if I'll just need to take their expertise from the chat box then, won't I? Since I'm not rushing in here. The email address is right there, I'm waiting. Where is? And what is it you think of this? These particle space balls or some top-down flowing thing? What do you think it's doing to water to make it bend, run stuff, and maintain it like that? Even if you had some sort of chamber, right, like the concave crazies, where you could make a sphere, and you could get a floaty sphere in the middle, right, and you could put water in there so that it was kind of half filled, and then switch the middle sphere on, and then it pushes all the water equally to the outside walls. Absolutely crazy. What is going on here on this? Who am I looking at that's trying to post something? Leroy Foster, Jim Panda rides again. Did Cavendish have temperature control in his shed to account for expansion and contraction? Probably no. They don't care about all that. Get Zep on, he's the alpha ape. Others are barely chimps. Oh well, where is this Zep Teppy then? Everybody's saying you're the man, Zep Teppy. Why are you shiting your wee pants? Where are you? I'm not even seeing Zep Teppy here, whoever the fuck that is. Is that the one, man? He's the doctor. And that's a perfect thing when they're talking about this pressure gradient thing. It's about mass bearing down. It's just like if you go a metre under the water, you take a metre cubed of water from the top of a swimming pool, right, and that set volume, right, and you go to the bottom and you've got the exact same, you know, cube size and volume, you're going to feel the pressure down there because the column of mass bearing down on you is greater than at the top. It doesn't mean to say that in that cube at the top of the body of water there's less water than there is at the cube at the bottom of the body of water. Does it? Well, FPV Angel, they seem to be running scared as usual. No doubt we'll just get hit piece videos of misrepresentations, barefaced lies, the usual, with a smug attitude of pomposity and assuredness in their fantasy realm of space particles. Zep Tepe's too shy to come on. Whatever, Zep Tepe. You're just a plamp the same as the rest of them. You don't have anything. And you know that I'm just going to wreck it. That's why you're not coming in. Because you need a gullible that you can try and assert dominance over with your gobbledygook and smother them in word salad and buzzwords and mantras and religious phrases. That doesn't wash with me and you know it. That's how you're not coming in, because you'll get your wee arse felt and scalped and sent packing. Let's not beat about the bush. Still nothing. Still nothing. Here I'm offering the opportunity. What is it? Is it words or something that's been missing? Is the chat box editing out, blocking comments with certain words on it? I'll need to check that to see. I can see he's there in that chat box. Brew and blah. Perhaps some, you know, expert could enlighten us in the chat here about gravity and the workings of the space particles and all that stuff. Because we're all a bit confused. It doesn't seem to me, you know, jive with any kind of practical reference or reality. He's going to admit that it's just all imagination and concepts. Yeah? What does that mean, Paul Rob Davison? Alright, so Zep Tepe's not an expert, just at it. Well, it looks like we've not got any experts. Conspiracy Cats will be hiding, waiting for his wee moment of his same old gimmick. Again, you're a clown, son, and I know you can hear me. I know you're paying attention. Your wee idiotic jibber jabber is pure and utter pish. Dip your finger in salt and fucking poke it right into the wounds of these fucking creepy clowns and their cretinous nonsense about fantasy realm crap. It's amazing, isn't it? How utterly ridiculous all this stuff is that's been asserted and pushed onto gullible children. That these people know what's happening with our space balls, macro space balls, micro space balls, with empty space all in between them, where nothing exists, warping and bending of fabrics that are not even there. It's alright, mate. It's FPV Angel, don't worry about it. What we'll do is we'll wait for them to descend under this video, and then I'll just reply. I'll go live and I'll focus purely on their idiotic comments. That's the only way we can do it. Because they're just coming into these videos and hoping they can sway a gullible back into the cult mantras and nonsense of imagination fairyland. So this is about theodolites. People keep asking me that the one that YouTube took down, and they're saying it's been set to private. It's not the same one. I went live the other night just to document, you know, a wee image thing that it was in the half time of the Celtic game. It was just so I could capture. I didn't realise I'd hit stream now rather than record. It was just to capture the wee bit that they were showing me about the weather pattern on this hurricane, supposedly seen from the ISS. So people are, because I hadn't changed the title of that live stream, you know, it was coming up that, but that's not what I was intending. The original one that I done to Baldy Flaps, YouTube immediately removed it. With no warning or nothing. I might have said stuff that was a bit too far, but I don't take kindly to people making up barefaced lies. So he deserved it. If he wants to make up lies, he deserves everything he gets. Well, at least if I'm not getting any exciting rebuttals. They must have ran out of ink. It's the only thing I can think of. There's no ink left in their whiteboard pens. Mine's is brand new, I've got plenty to go. I can map out the whole universe. Watch this. This is your existence here, right here. I'm just about to show you. Pay attention. This is your whole existence. Are you ready? Firstly, there was this. Can you see it? I know it's tiny. There was this, right? I call it a singularity. An infinitesimal dot with everything, the whole universe compressed into it. I don't know where it was. We just forget about that. You just forget all about it. Right? Because this created space and time and space balls, stars, galaxies, suns, moons and everything. It did. Honestly. We don't know where it was. Apparently it wasn't anywhere. Nowhere. The infinitesimal, infinitely condensed, dense dot wasn't anywhere. It wasn't in a space or anything like that. It was just nowhere. Then it expanded. So we'll move it over here. In fact, no, they show it left to right. So, just like the way you write, you know. So there's that other proof. We write from left to oh, the Chinese don't. How's that going to work into my theory? Fuck it. I'll come up with some F equals something just to explain away the Chinese. So anyway, we write from left to right, so that's another proof. See here. The infinitesimally small dot that's condensed into that wee space that's nowhere. Done this. Right? Created this area that we call space, so it's no infinite anymore. It's no infinite. No. It's in the confines of a cock-shaped looking thing. Right? Huh? Now, all this did, it spewed out all this stuff. We'll just make wee dots. Spewed out stuff. Right? And that stuff warped your granny's knickers. Right? When it warped your granny's knickers, it made bigger stuffs bring weir stuffs towards it, and it turned into balls. And then they balls started going round each other. For no rhyme or reason. Just because your granny's knickers were a bit sweaty and warped or something. So, we've got gas spewed out from the infinitesimally condensed singularity that was nowhere. Spewed out gas into this cock-shaped thing. Then the gas, Spaceballs, somehow pulled itself together. Gas in a vacuum. Managed to pull itself together to make a big solid ball. Not only that, it created another big solid ball thing that's got like a nuclear reactor in it, nuclear fusion or something. Don't know where that came from. Didn't come from anywhere. Same as the infinitesimally small condensed singularity didn't exist or come from anywhere either. So all the gas spread out and then came back together into stuff, and it kind of imploded. Nuclear fusion, words. N equals stuff. Right, that's the scientific terminology for it. N equals stuff. N stands for nuclear fusion, creating stuff. Then all the other wee stuff around the nuclear fusion gas ball that came together in a vacuum somehow. You know, because that's how gases behave in vacuums. It forms balls. If you pour gas particle balls into a vacuum, they'll stick together because they're pals, and they'll make a bigger space ball. And then if the bigger space ball is near that space ball, that one fancies it and starts stalking it by doing circles around it. Right? Like that. It was the scent of your granny's soiled knickers known as the fabric of space-time. Sorry, we'll just put that in there, sorry. G stands for granny pants. S stands for soiled. Equals orbital mechanics. Huh? That's how it all works. Are you amazed? Is your mind blown? So is mine. I still can't get my head around it. It's hard work, all this scientific stuffs. So, when grannies cast their soiled underwear away, they need to be careful. Because they're creating universes. You know nothing. And that universe spawns guys like Baldy Cats that teach us all about it. And we're so privileged. Neil deGrasse Tyson should be privileged to talk with me. Oh, fucking just created new orbital mechanics. New equations. I'm up there with fucking Neil. If Neil's polite and a gentleman, I'm willing to have a discussion with Neil. Perhaps he can tell me how the space particle concept really works. They can get Bill Nye into tag team. Maybe it was they two that fucking made Granny soil her pants or something. And that's how the universe began. I mean, anything's possible when you've got a whiteboard and a fucking pen. I'm sure the great architect sat and figured it all out with his whiteboard and his pen before he put it on into motion. Aye. I need some soiled granny knickers. I better create grannies first. First, I need to grow Adam and Eve's. And I'll need to wait till they get old. And then they invent cotton. And then Eve's great-great-great-great-granddaughter can stick a pair of them on. And then I'll have my soiled knickers that I can use for the fabric of space-time. Never mind where Adam and Eve were. They were in the same place as the infinitesimally small, condensed singularity. They were nowhere. But they grew nowhere, with no time or space. I don't even know what the pattern was on the soiled knickers. I don't know if it was frilly numbers. Being a granny, I can't really see her wearing a wee G-string frilly set of axe. I'm imagining fucking tit huggers. You know the ones that they pull right up here? It's like a bra and a pair of knickers. So they can stretch it right up and hold their tits. And all that stuff in. So that there's more fabric of space-time so I can make an infinite universe. So that all my wee space balls can all bounce on it. Maybe that's what happened to Pluto. Pluto got wiped out because it got smothered in soilings. It's now not recognised. We can't call it a planet anymore. It's all covered in granny soil. We'll just cut it down to 8 now. Fuck it. I mean, I think Granny needs to learn how to wipe her bum better. I don't know what's going on in the mind of God. I mean, it's fucking fantastic. I'm going too far. I can't help myself. So, there you have it, people. I hope you've learned some valuable scientific fucking knowledge here this evening. Don't judge me on my whiteboard skills. I'm sure they'll get better with time. I'm going to study conspiracy cats and the likes in depth so that I can articulate my sweepings and my dots with perfection and precision. You'll never look your granny the same. I'm telling you, man. Next time you see your granny, you'll see God. Well, I've made him laugh, but I'm talking crap. How am I talking crap? PhD guy, you know, coming on to tell me? Well, I'm still here. Come on in and tell me. What you got to tell me? It's not my granny, it's my grandpa's. You got to tell me my grandpa was a cross-dresser now. He's cutting about with fucking frilly stretchy knickers on. And then fucking cast him aside and created the universe. I'm no sexist. Might have been my grandfather, I don't know. Still no requests. Zilch, diddly squat. I understand what's outside of my garden. I've just showed you the workings of the universe. How it was created. How it all works. How am I any different from the rest of them with a whiteboard and a pen? I've offered new material, new ways of thinking about it. I'm a pioneer. I'm out on the edge of science, taking it to new frontiers. No, I don't believe in Flat Earth Society's version of flat discs rising upwards, you plamp. Where did I say that? Direction and weight are done by either motion something coming into contact with stuff to give it direction, with a resistance to give it weight, or there's some sort of flow of something coming in this direction, downwards, a flow of some kind. You've not got any other options, I'm afraid. That's just tough titty if you don't like it. Because if you don't like it, you're going to start inventing space particles. And try to deceive people into granny-like universes. Well, this is it, Benjamin. I don't have the answers, but what I do have is questions for these people that keep asserting the nonsense. They're talking about forces creating motion and acceleration. They're talking about direction. They're talking about weight. And I'm asking these questions. So how are you getting all that? What is the function? What is the interaction between these bodies? Fantasy, dots on whiteboards just don't cut it, I'm afraid. And asserting that gases are wee balls of stuff bouncing off each other. It's just lunacy. Whatever, PhD guy. I've just absolutely obliterated the nonsensical jargon of your mainstream poppycock. Shown it for exactly what it is. It's idiotic, nonsensical drivel. Doesn't stand up to any sort of practicality. It doesn't have practical reference. It's all conceptual. Dreamed up in the imagination of fantasists. And executed with a whiteboard and a pen. Where's that cock-end Phil, fucking Dr. Phil work? Incredible buffer that guy is. He's another one of these fantasists that comes to the comment section once I'm finished and spews drivel. Yeah, I'm away. I'm done with this crap. No doubt I shall be back. We shall be going back over this again. Once we get the response. So, Globe Disciple, make your hit piece videos. Spew your drivel in the comment section. Good. Now I've got something to laugh at. Right, thank you very much, peoples. I hope you've enjoyed it and learned something new. We have clarity now. We all know how the universe is working. Bye.